Welcome to the hunterbright podcast, the ultimate destination for all things hunting and the great outdoors. I'm Bill.
And I'm Heath. Together, we'll be your guides on this thrilling journey, exploring the average hunter's perspectives and deep diving into the world of outdoor adventures.
Get ready to immerse yourself in captivating discussions, expert insights, and personal stories that will leave you inspired and eager to grab your bow.
Speaking of bows, we have a special focus on archery, covering both bow hunting and target shooting. Whether you're a seasoned expert or just starting out, we've got you covered.
So join us as we unravel the secrets of the wilderness, share tips and tricks, and connect with fellow outdoor enthusiasts who share our passion for the hunt.
From tracking elusive game to mastering the art of camouflage, we'll explore it all. Expert interviews with experienced hunters, gear reviews, and discussions on conservation efforts.
Whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned pro, the Hunterbright podcast is your go-to source for all things hunting and archery.
So grab your headphones, sit back, let's embark on a thrilling adventure together.
So Foley was this weekend, right?
It was, and there was 2,000 shooters. A couple of friends of ours were down there, and they said it was one of the largest shoots that they've ever seen. More vendors, more shooters, and some incredible scores. That new Matthews title came out, and it seems like it has absolutely set the target shooting world on fire.
Yeah, that's the one that's like the Phase 4, but the target version, basically, right?
Yeah, they've got special features with new weights. They're using solid brass weights on the bows, and then they have that integrate system for the sights and
kind of like bear bow. Those weights that they use like for bear bow, those like big fat weights that go at the front, kind of like that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because the technology has advanced so much. A lot of the guys I've talked to, especially in the little circles that we travel in and shoot with competitively, everything they can talk about is how good bow tech is, how two, it seems like Darton is exploding.
Darton's always in the conversation. It's always there. Where we live, there's not a lot of Darton stuff going on, but I hear about it pretty often. It's right in there.
And I think Darton has really got their A game on because it seems like they're making a very good target bow that more and more shooters can I think they can afford it a little easier. Mm-hmm. There's some guys where we shoot up north that are actually target shooters for Darton, and they swear by them.
Yeah. Well, I think, Darton has been around for a long time.
They have, and they're a U.S. company. They're made up north, aren't they?
Yeah, like Michigan or something like that.
Yeah, I think it is Michigan.
I'll have to look that up. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I've like the shop. Like you can just go to the shop.
Mm-hmm.
It's not far off.
No. Speaking of shoots this year, here in Northwest Missouri, I found out through the grapevine today that unofficially Pershing is having a 3D tournament again, which is over by Chillicothe.
Are they going to have a ASA qualifier, you think, or are they just starting up?
Well, so the word I got was that the club was renewed or revitalized. I guess there was an old membership and an old charter, maybe, that got re-upped, and they've got some new direction that they're taking with it now, and they wanted to bring that shoot back because the Pershing Park shoot was incredible years ago because it was all done on conservation ground, and they had a really, really, really fun shoot.
Yeah. I'm relatively new to the archery game as far as that goes, so I didn't get to see some of the cool stuff that was going on in the past. Looking forward to some cool stuff this year.
I'm very optimistic about it. I think, there's a lot of groups out there talking about the number of hunters going up. And with that being said, I think that you have a lot of people who are turning that outdoor passion into a lifestyle. And you're going to see more and more people participating in shooting sports. The local 4-H shooting sports, I've been very fortunate to be a part of the last few years. with a very good friend of mine helping out with the trap shooting. And there are more children getting involved in shooting sports now than ever. It seems like a really good friend of mine, Jamie, he's actually the archery coach. And he says that there are just tons of kids that show up for the 4-H archery shoots.
Yeah.
And I think it's because, one, parents feel like it's more safe because it's maybe a more localized type of shooting. You don't have a projectile that's going to be shooting a mile.
It's not loud. It's not obnoxious.
No, and and anybody can get into it at any level or any age.
That's one thing I really love about archery because it spans so many. I guess you could give a kid a 22, but I have fun shooting a 22. It's kind of like that with archery. You can give a kid a little bear crusader or whatever cruiser, and with a little string, it's a little stick, and you can set them up. I know my son shot one of those for like a couple of years. He just shot the tar out of it, and he got really good. Like, I have a video of him he's got his 3 fingers, and he's got his, you can tell he knows where his anchor point is, and he's letting go early, and he just had a blast doing it, and all the way up to, your serious target shooters. You have kids that are shooting perfect scores. You have senior classes. So no matter what area you're in, amateur, pro, old, young, it doesn't really matter. Male, female, archery is a pretty welcoming sport.
And it's I think I want to give a shout out to the testament of the community. I haven't met anybody in, whether it's bow hunting or it's target archery, that doesn't want to help see you do good.
Yeah, it's competitive to a degree, but it's kind of like success first, right?
Right.
So that's kind of been my experience the last few years. It's like, oh, I want you to do good, but I still want to beat you.
That sounds kind of familiar.
I haven't met, with the exception of maybe a couple of people, I haven't met anyone that was really that rude or nasty or anything. I've met a few people that were just really in the zone. They were just doing their thing and didn't really want to be bothered. But for the most, they weren't rude or anything. They're kind of just in their groove. Nothing wrong with that. But I haven't come across maybe that one guy, but that's about all I've seen.
Yeah, I'll tell a short story. we were at an indoor 3D shoot, and we were doing some warm-ups on a bale, getting ready for the 3D side of it, and there was a gentleman there, and I like to meet people and talk and listen to experiences, and I guess I'm kind of a social butterfly in that respect.
Yeah,
but
I'm trying to warm up.
I kind of asked the guy, hey, I noticed your release you have. I see you have a button that's very similar to mine. It's made of brass. Was it custom made by a gentleman here in Missouri? And he kind of looked at me. He's like, I don't know. It just whatever it came with, I guess. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna lay off. You have yourself a pleasant night, sir.
Hope you lose, sucker.
It's to each their own. We're all different. We're all made differently. But the community itself is strong, and I think that's a lot of the lure for me, is that some of the relationships that I've made through archery, including my relationship with you, Bill, I've made some really good friends with this.
Oh yeah. Well, and so I guess that's a good story. That's something we could. I started archery maybe the summer of 2021, and by fall I was hooked. I was going to my local pro shop, not a bro shop. It's an actual pro shop. And if you guys don't know what that is, leave me a comment and I'll explain it to you. But I went down there and I was like, man, I think I need a new string. My serving was separating. He looked at it, he says, well, it's not just that your string is not very good, but your cam is dinged, and You had this issue, but these are great bows. I said, I had like $1,500 in my pocket. I was like, hey, I'll just buy a new bow then if you think I need a new bow. And he's like, oh, no, this is great. You just need to get a new string, and that's really all you need. He says maybe a better sight, but really you don't even need that. Just you get a new string, and I'll bet you'll do just fine. And I appreciated his honesty in such a way that I was like, well, maybe I need to spend some money here. So I bought a new string, I bought a new rest, I bought a new sight. I think I was like a $300 Excel sight, like a 5-pin sight. And I was like, just hook it up, give me everything. And I think I walked out of there spending over $500. And I went out and shot, and I did great. Like, I was like super happy with my performance. Everything got better. Is because my bow is tuned finally, or it was set up correctly, I should say. And my arrows were tuned for my bow, and I got a new set of arrows. I really started doing good, and I got excited. Did I know you before I had my CP28 or after?
During.
Oh, during the process.
I met you at the shop during that, yep.
So I went hunting, and I totally missed. I like shot over the top of my buck that year. But I did shoot a fall turkey, which everybody was like, "Oh, that's great," this and that. And I was like, "Yeah." He flew right in front of me, and I just popped him. I even missed the first time, and I took another crack shot at him, and I got him. And I was so stoked about it. I was like, I just keep practicing, but I didn't know enough about the shot process to really be able to execute a good shot because I hadn't done it enough. So I'm thinking maybe if I just get a shorter bow and I'm really into this. I was shooting a lot in the backyard. I was just reaching out to maybe 40 yards and doing okay. I'm getting this CP28 and getting set up. I think you were in there, and you said, hey, if you ever want to go to an archery tournament, because I was like, what else? I think I've peaked. I'm the hero of my backyard. Mm-hmm. I'm the best shooter at my house, like backyard hero. And like, well, I go to these tournaments sometimes. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I'd go to that, And so I get my bow set up, and I go hunting it, and I smoke a great one that year. So it's the second year in archery. Get nice buck. 30 yards, heart shot, perfect. Everything. I mean, couldn't ask for any better. I hear about this place called Tri-County, and they're having indoor 3D post hunting season. So I'm all jazzed up after shooting this deer, and I'm ready for some more. And the square bell's just not doing it enough. And I called you up, and I was like, hey, there's this thing at Tri-County. You want to? I'm going. Swing by and pick you up if you want to go too. And yeah, I'll go, no problem. So that's how we started going to Tri-County and shooting their indoor 3D, which this is our second year over there. And there was 1 million people there. The first year we went, it was just us. It was like us and two like target bow guys, right?
Yeah.
And we were smoking them.
Oh, we were on fire. we were shooting our hunting rig and just eating these guys alive. And how's the saying go? A blind squirrel finds an acorn?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was just because we had fast bows and we just held on at 20 pin and hope for the best.
Ignorance was bliss.
Yeah. So this year we shot open class with a target bow and found a whole new set of challenges. Anytime you get a chance to shoot a local tournament, just for fun, especially indoor in the wintertime, because there's nothing really over 30 yards usually, and it's just a blast.
It really is. And the people that you meet, I have purchased so much gear from the people I meet.
Yeah.
Well, it's so to kind of backtrack, we talked about the pro shop.
Yeah.
So I end up getting a Hamsky Trinity for my target bow, and of course I bought it used, and I picked up some more parts for it to update it a little bit, and I took it over to the pro shop today, and I said, hey, I bought this rest. Do you guys mind putting it on and repaper tuning my bow? He's like, oh yeah, not a problem. I got you. So he puts it on and he's getting it all fixed up. And he looks at me and says, well, we sell these, right? And I said, yeah, but I bought this for considerably less than new. Oh, okay, no big deal. So Mike puts it on, and he gets it dialed in. I mean, he does his magic. And I asked him and his wife, I said, what do I owe you guys? And they said, nothing, don't worry about it. Well, it's one of those deals in the archery community. Again, I can't express this enough. We have to take care of our own.
Yep.
If we don't take care of our own, we're never going to have a community that's ever going to be taken seriously or embrace each other. So I pulled out $20 in my pocket and I laid it on the cash register, and I said, I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks a bunch. And they said, no, you don't have to do that. We're all friends. We may call you for a favor or something. I said, no. I said, you spent 45 minutes putting this on my bow, and you tuned it, and you didn't ask for nothing. Go buy some ice cream tonight.
Yeah, something.
I think it's very important to keep that neighborly relationship strong. And it's like hiring your best friend to work for you at your house. I'm not going to call a buddy of mine and say, hey, can you come over and help me install a new toilet, when he's a plumber and he does that sort of thing,
right?
And then expect a discount. No, I want to see him do well, so I might throw him some extra money because he did it on his time. He made special arrangements for me, and he did a good job.
Yeah, not every situation is I can't do it and I can't afford it situation, or I need a favor situation. Although having friends and being beneficial for your friends or vice versa is always a good thing, but it doesn't always have to be that way. And I couldn't tell you how many times I've walked into that shop and been like, I have a question. Mm-hmm. I'm an idiot. I dry fired my bow the fourth day I had it. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't even on purpose. Like it wasn't because I was stupid. It was because I drew my bow back, and my wife said something, and I let down, and I didn't check my nock if it was on the string just right, and I guess it had just pushed off a little bit. Mm-hmm. It was still on the string, it just wasn't on there exactly right, and when I drew back, boom, snap, my cam's folded over. He sees it all the time, but I don't think he was prepared for my brutal honesty. Mm-hmm. I was like, dude, I think I dry fired it. And he's like, what? I said, I think I ruined my bow. And he's like, you just bought that thing. And I know. And I'm stupid, and it's probably ruined. And do you want to look at it? And he's like, well, yeah, I'll give it here. And he's like, that's the worst I've ever seen a cam bend over on one of those. And he ended up getting me a set of cams. They don't have to warranty that. They don't warranty that. And he ended up talking to Bowtech and getting me a set of cams for a discounted rate and putting them on and everything for less than probably what I would have bought for just the cams. Mm-hmm. But I had to get a new string too, I think. Yeah, I had to get a new string. But I was getting one anyways. I haven't looked back on that one. That's just been set up and perfect ever since. I had a couple fiascos with that bow, but it was because I was tinkering with it. And he was sure to tell me where I had went wrong. Because he catches it instantly.
Yeah. Well, that's why they call him the Godfather. Mm-hmm. At least around here. I guess maybe to kind of build upon your introduction, I shot archery as a young man. Never really had a mentor or anything. I think I got into it when I was about 9 or 10 years old. My family, they don't bow hunt. They're big time hunters. They're really big hunters. But I never had a mentor. It was kind of the school of hard knocks. And as a young man shooting these 3D shoots in our area, I got to pick up some stuff. I kind of honed my skill a little bit. Did I have some bad habits? Yes, but I made it work. And then about 12 years ago, I injured my shoulder, had a partial tear in my rotator cuff, and I couldn't pull a bow back anymore. But my saving grace, as time goes on, my son was a young man. He's about 4, and he wanted to start playing baseball. And of course, I love my kid to death. I have to be involved in everything he does, so I decide I want to coach. And I have coached him the last 9 years and we play catch every day, and we stretch together, and we really tried to work on sport performance in a healthy way. And I'll be darned if I didn't strengthen my arm up. And that gave me an opportunity in 2021. I bought my first ever brand new bow. I bought a Matthews Atlas. I'm a tall guy. I've got a 32-inch draw length. It's always been really hard for me to find a bow that actually fit me with that long draw. And that first year that I had that Atlas, I killed a spring turkey with it. Fantastic hunt. Not my favorite hunt. My favorite hunt was another one with my son. But later that year, I got to shoot my largest buck. Actually, I think is my second buck I've ever killed with a bow. I harvested my largest buck with a bow ever on a piece of property that I own, and I'm like, I'm hooked. This is it. Like hunting to me is so much more fun, and I have so much more of a sense of accomplishment using archery equipment. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not quite ready to jump down the road of traditional archery because
coward.
I am a coward. I still feel that I am a student of archery.
That's like getting your black belt in archery. you get a stick bow, you've become a black belt.
Oh my gosh, those guys are so remarkable. They shoot so well. There's some guys that I know around here that shoot traditional, and we'll go shoot with them once in a while, and just to watch them, I mean,
dedication, you can see it.
They're the focus.
Mm-hmm.
It's the focus and the intensity. It's like they have a stick and string, and they are the most dialed in, focused professionals. Because every one of them carries themselves very differently, and they have a routine, and they take that craft so seriously. And I've always heard that they can go from a trad bow to a compound bow and just absolute kick tail.
Mm-hmm. You know, and they're humble guys too, because every once in a while they'll wing one. So it keeps you humble.
Oh yeah,
keeps you humble.
Yeah, absolutely. I Lord knows I've done enough silly things. I am very humble. I think you and I shot state last year from Missouri, and I think I was shooting about straight. I was about 300 for ASA,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and I was going into it 290. If I hit a 10, I got 300, so I'd been straight. I ended up shooting a 5 because I was tired.
Yeah.
I was kind of like,
around
I just want to get done.
Yeah. Oh, I've had a number of fiascos just from having weird setup or change something and not really be able to adjust for it or whatever it is. I've got a lot to learn. So my archery career started in about 2021, about the time you were coming back. Mm-hmm. So I noticed right away that you knew some stuff that I didn't know. I could tell right away. But as far as hunting goes, I think we both hunted deer, whitetail, at a very young age.
Yes.
And rifle hunting is just kind of like, what you do in the Midwest. It's just like a rite of passage. Right. Everybody does it. And the more time you spend out in the woods, the better you are as a hunter. And I'm a terrible hunter, but I'm a great shot. And that's what I always had going for me. I couldn't see. There was years I didn't even see a deer because I was so terrible out in the woods because I never spent any time out there. And then I spend it mostly on public land. So I get out there and I've got my 30-06 and I go walking around looking for a deer like Elmer Fudd, just stomping around trying to find something. Like you hunt mushrooms, just walk around until you find something, And I had I would get 1 or 2 deer a year for a long time. I was working in regular job, I just 9 to 5, and I hunt on the weekends. But I religiously shot. I was into guns, gunsmithing, reloading, everything you could think of guns from a 22 short, revolver all the way up to a 30-06, or like a 6mm long range, 500 plus yards, stuff like that. But I could shoot. I always could shoot. I could hit, coins out of the air with a 22. I always had fun shooting, and that's why I went hunting, because that was my chance to use what I knew to be able to hunt. That's how I got started, even being interested in hunting. And then with the bow, it was even harder. I got better over the years to where, I knew where the deer were going. I knew how to read them. There were certain places where they show up every year, and it became easier. The more you learn, the easier it gets. I know a lot of guys getting into hunting, they're like, this is hard. And I look and I think about it, I'm like, no, it's easy. But when you look at it and you know how the deer, work and how they move, and you just over the time you learn so much about them that it becomes easy, where you're like, I can show up right here at 5:30 and they're gonna be there. Mm-hmm. And a guy that doesn't know anything, he's gonna show up somewhere at 4:30 and wait till dark and never see anything because he was in the wrong spot. Mm-hmm. That's something that I've learned. But with bow hunting, being able to sit still, I couldn't have bow hunted early on. I'm not patient enough. As a young man, not a bow hunter. I can't wait that long. But now I just kind of enjoy sitting out in the woods and being out there. And if I don't see what I'm looking for, that's okay. Mm-hmm. It's still a good day. Mm-hmm. And I'm not defeated. But I also got a little bit more time to do it. Mm-hmm. And I got there's a lot less pressure on my plate now that my kids are grown. I don't have so much pressure. So a bad hunt is still better than a good day at work.
100%. 100%. Growing up, I was my family. They had a farm, and my experience deer hunting was my dad would sit me on a bucket, and he'd say, "Okay, I'm going to sit here with you, and the deer are going to come out over there, and when one comes out, make a good shot, and we'll go get it." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I harvested my first deer, my first buck at a very young age. I think I was probably 8 or 9, and I was like, "Well, there's nothing to this. This is easy." Dad told me what to do. Well, then as I got a little older, I kind of got about 16. I started really wanting to go hunting on my own more. I didn't know anything about it. Mm-hmm. But the cool thing is that my grandfather is a trapper. And when I say he's a trapper, I mean he is a fantastic trapper. He taught me woodsmanship with small game. And, we'd always look for the game trails. If we're going to trap coyotes, we're looking for game trails. If we're going to go trap for raccoons, we're going to go look near water sources. You would say, okay, this is very, very simple stuff, but this is all part of building woodsmanship. And I really feel that today, especially with the product era, the purchasing, I'm just $1,000 away from being that much better.
That's it.
It's when it comes to hunting, we've really lost the art of woodsmanship. And really, I'm not blaming anybody or anything. It's just that I didn't know. But as I got a little older, I was finally smart enough or mature enough that I could start putting this stuff together. Hey, this is a deer path. Hey, this is a deer rub. This might be a bobcat scratch. But now I know what I'm looking at, and I can kind of visually put it together. Hey, the hilltop has this. I got to worry about the wind. I'm not a guy that gets all wrapped up in camouflage. I don't own a stick of Sitka, or I don't know of any other brands.
I get my camo from Walmart.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I usually just wear Carhartts.
And I think out here you really don't need it.
If you hunt Midwest, the wind, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Is there any other way to hunt out here? I don't know anybody that doesn't hunt that way, unless they're like in a big fancy blind. They're hunting the wind anyways. They're still facing that direction. You're always doing that. I don't know anybody that doesn't hunt that way. But talking about woodsmanship, I loved the idea of living off the land ever since I was little. And a lot of people are like me. They didn't have a dad to show them stuff. Either their dad was too busy, or maybe they had a single mom, or whatever, but I just desired to live out in the woods. That was like my goal in life for a long time. And to do it self-sustainably with absolutely nothing, like a pocket knife and a lighter, and try to survive that way. So I spent so many years doing that when we go out now, I take a backpack when I go hunting, like if I go public land, but I don't take it because all the stuff I bring. I take it because all the trash I bring out. Like I'll bring at least a sack, like a Walmart sack. Nothing crazy, but I'll bring a Walmart sack of trash out of the woods on my way through, in and then back out. And it's more now than it ever's been before. Like there's way more trash. Like every once in a while you find a beer can that's blown around or something like that. But now there's like whole trails of what people are leaving behind. From like, you can see like their call came in a box, so they open the box and they throw the box down, or their turkey stuff, the wrappers to it, or just anything, especially on conservation ground, because it's open to the public. It's really disheartening to see, and it's getting maybe it's not getting worse, but I guess I just notice it more that I'm looking for it. I'm kind of going through there and picking up trash.
Whether you're driving down the road, if it's an interstate highway or a U.S. highway or a gravel road, when you're always looking out, because I know me, whenever I drive down the road, the first thing I look for is deer or turkey.
Yeah.
Like I want to see a field full of strutters, or I want to see a bunch of does, or maybe it's the spring, or maybe it's midsummer, and I'm looking for the fawns. I want to see the fawns of the mothers. I love seeing those baby animals, especially, we raised cattle growing up, and calving season was our favorite. But since you're always looking out into nature, you're always seeing the things that don't come from nature.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a sore thumb, yeah.
Yeah, and that's, you can't call yourself the steward of the land if you're not helping clean up some of the land.
Yeah, that's kind of my big thing. Me and my buddy Tom, when we go, no matter where we go, we try to be as ethical as possible, because it is shared property. It's just as much mine as it is yours, and you're just as welcome. I don't care if you own or live in an apartment building or own 4,000 acres. You have just as much right to be in that open ground as I do, because we all pay taxes on it, and we all have that responsibility to take care of it. Equally, if you're going to be out there, you might as well clean up a little bit, or don't leave any evidence. And when we used to go fishing as kids, and we always picked up trash. Like it was just it's a kind of a cultural thing. I'm originally from out west, so that was kind of a cultural thing. Well, we're coming to the end of our podcast. Heath, do you have anything to say?
I really enjoyed the time. Thank you for listening. We're just two guys sharing some experiences. If we can help somebody get into the outdoors, or if we can be a resource, we want to do that. We want to be stewards for the sport. We want to be stewards of the land, and we want to be model citizens for our community. I think that's important, and always introduce young ones, guide them with knowledge and patience as we move forward, making our sport that much better.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thanks for listening to the hunterbright podcast. And if you have any suggestions and they're productive, we might listen to them. If not, you can stick it. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.